Everybody, welcome to Cruise Report from my beautiful, or our beautiful, deluxe veranda suite on the brand new Silver Moon. Now, I've kind of held off doing one of these vlogs just because we have been so busy and our internet is not good enough to upload video anyway, so just decided we're going to have to do this when we get home. But it's about our 7th day on the ship, and I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of update you and let you know what's going on. First of all, just a little bit of an update on the health protocols that Silversea has put into place. We were required to get an antigen test before we boarded the ship in Athens or Piraeus, and that went pretty smooth. It was not a super painful test. It kind of tickled a little when they put the swab in the nose, but they didn't go deep, so it wasn't too painful. And it took about maybe 15 or 20 minutes to get the results of the test. And once the negative results came back, we were allowed to board the ship, which went pretty quickly. The testing kind of broke up the time of everybody boarding, so it wasn't a big, huge crowd trying to board at one time. And I think the ship may be only half full anyway, so it wasn't like there's a huge crowd. Once we got on the ship, we had really very little time. They didn't allow us into the suites until 4 o'clock, and then we had just a little bit of time to get ready before the naming ceremony, which was held in the Venetian Lounge. And so we went to that. Very interesting. Got to see the president of Royal Caribbean, or CEO of Royal Caribbean, president, CEO of Silversea. And it was a naming ceremony where we had the godmother there, Gaia. So it was a very good evening, very interesting. And then after that, we had been invited to a special dinner in the Salt Kitchen. Not typical of the Salt Kitchen menu. It was a special menu. We were invited as part of a group of media people. So we went there, had a nice meal. And then the rest of the cruise has been, pretty much typical except for the health protocols. The way it works is anytime you're walking through the ship, you're supposed to have on a mask. And they do have a lot of these masks available. They even put them in your stateroom or suite. And anywhere you go on the ship, they'll have these masks available in case you didn't bring enough on your own. It makes it a little clunky because, for example, this morning I got up and I went to Arts Cafe to have coffee and work on my blog. Well, I have to have a mask on when I leave my suite. And I'm basically walking through an empty hall, and then once I get to Arts Cafe and sit down, I can take off the mask, because when you're eating or drinking, you don't have to wear a mask. So, it's just a little bit confusing. If you're outdoors, you don't have to wear a mask, but if you're walking through the halls, or if you're sitting in a venue and you're not eating or drinking, you're really supposed to be wearing a mask. I think it's probably something that myself and a lot of other people who travel are willing to put up with it right now because, people are just kind of hungry for travel. But if this becomes a permanent thing, which it could, I'm not sure how many people this will dissuade from traveling, because it does make travel a hassle. There's also a lot of hassle with the airlines. We have to have vaccination certificates. There's a lot of paperwork you have to show. For example, on our return flight home, we're already getting notifications from Delta that we have to have a negative COVID test before we're allowed to go back into the country, back into the USA. Silversea is providing that antigen test. I think they'll probably do it tomorrow or the next day, the day before we get off. And they're providing that at their expense. But if you're from a country that requires a PCR test, and there are some countries that require a PCR test, that's a $120 additional charge. Silversea's not covering that. So be aware of that. And of course, these things can change at any minute. You can be on a cruise and your country decides you need a PCR test, and then all of a sudden there's another $120 fee per person. So anyway, other than that, if you get rid of the mask issue, the cruise has been pretty normal. Wonderful. Silversea always does a great job. We're going to do a complete, thorough review of the ship I'll do a complete ship walkthrough. I'm also going to do a complete walkthrough and review of the deluxe veranda stateroom on the ship. We're going to do that here in just a little bit. And we're going to talk about the salt lab and the salt kitchen, this new salt experience that Silversea has. So it should be a very exciting series of videos coming up if you're interested in Silversea or if you're a Silversea enthusiast. Other than that, our excursions have been pretty normal. You do have to wear masks when you're off the ship. If you're going to shops or restaurants, things like that. If you're just walking around town, it's fine. So that's just a quick update. We've been having a great time. It's been very relaxing. It's a beautiful new ship. We're very excited about the direction that Silversea is going. We're going to talk a lot more about that in our upcoming review. And there's some exciting news. I think you'll want to watch our upcoming videos because we're going to share some news that you may not know about. And I look forward to sharing all that with you, and I'll see you on the next Cruise Report.